Now on Talking Solutions, we're going to find out about CASA and the Angel Tree Holiday Toy Drive. We've got Sheila Parks, Program Director for CASA.
Yes, for the 8th Judicial District Court.
CASA stands for
Court-Appointed Special Advocates.
Because you guys are the ones helping children in foster care here in Clark County.
Exactly. We're the advocates that are appointed by the judge to represent the best interests of children in care.
We've got a lot of kids in foster care here in Southern Nevada.
There's over 3,000 children in the foster care system here in Clark County.
Do you think maybe, Sheila, that they get forgotten to a certain extent? Because people are saying, oh, well, they're in foster care, so they are being looked after.
The community doesn't realize that these are our children. And so I think the community can do more. There's a huge need for foster parents. That's how the community can step up and really help these children when they are placed in foster care. Because child welfare is just an agency. But these children are in a system, and we can all improve it.
I would absolutely agree with that. Also want to welcome Elizabeth Ham. You are the president of the CASA Foundation.
Yes, so we are a nonprofit organization that helps raise funds to help pay for what we believe are the unmet needs of children in foster care. So we work hand in hand with the program as well and help with retention and recruitment of the CASA volunteers, which is also a great need. We have about 370 advocates now that are the voice of the child throughout the court system. You know, every child is supposed to have a CASA by law, but they're all volunteers. So there's a great need to have an advocate by their side as they go through the system until their matters resolve, either through adoption or reunification with their family, if that's an option. So a child in foster care with a CASA in their life benefits greatly from it. Statistically, it helps change their path. As children in foster care, once they're 18, they're turned out of the system. They become our homeless, and they become our incarcerated, and they become our drug addicts and prostitutes. And so, you know, CASA really steps in and helps curb that path and ensure that the child is receiving all of the things that they need and that they're in a loving and safe environment until their matters resolved. It's really an important role to play. And as Sheila's saying, our community can do more. They could go through the training and become a part of the child's life and help them in that way as well.
You know, I've heard the term aging out of the system. Mm-hmm. It's almost like when they turn 18, you got this and you just push them out the door. It can't work that way. And the situations that you just described about how kids end up after they turn 18, being homeless, ending up in situations where they're jailed, is CASA helping with the kids as they get older, teenage years having to go through as part of the foster care system. It's good to have that supervision and that family kind of an atmosphere. Mm-hmm. But it's still, I would think in most cases, is not going to automatically prepare these kids for adulthood.
Well, CASA served that role many times. We are appointed to children from 0 to 18, and if they exit the system and they have a CASA volunteer, many of those children are more likely to be successful because they have a trusted adult in their life that can be with them when they leave the system. When children leave the system without a trusted adult that's going to help them throughout their adulthood, many times they end up in those bad situations.
That's a great thing about a CASA volunteer, right? Because they're volunteers and they stay with the child throughout. Regardless, in foster care, they're oftentimes moved from home to home. But even when they age out, I've been introduced to someone's CASA grandchild. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, gee, what is that? And they said, I was the CASA to their mother. So they stayed in that person's life so long that they're the CASA grandparent to their children. So a CASA makes a huge difference in a child's life.
Especially those that age out of the system.
Especially for aging out.
It sounds like you're making relationships with these kids as they go through the foster system and as they get older and approach adulthood, to where you have these ongoing relationships and you get to celebrate their successes and make sure they're on track and give them the kind of guidance that helps them to succeed. And it's almost like expanding a family.
Or having a family at all, because a lot of kids in care have nobody. They enter the system, they're removed from their home through no fault of their own due to abuse or extreme neglect. So oftentimes they have nobody, you know. So having a trusted adult, as Sheila said, or someone in their life is critical. Imagine going through this life with nobody. And so, you know, when you have someone in your corner, the chances of success are much greater.
You become a very important person to that child.
And because CASA volunteers only have one case or a sibling group, it's different from an attorney that's appointed for that child. They have a caseload, and many times it's almost 100 children. So they don't have the time to spend that quality time with the children. The CASA volunteers get to know those children. They know what those children's hopes and fears and dreams are. And sometimes they help to foster that, because sometimes no one is asking those children, what do you really want to be? And how can I help you get there? So that's why the CASA volunteers serves such an important role in their life. life when they're going through this system.
To know that a CASA volunteer only is working with one child or one group of siblings, you really can concentrate better on the needs of that individual child.
Those are the ones that's advocating for the children. All of them are volunteers.
Thinking of feelings for a child, and you made the example just a moment ago about how some of these children are going through the foster care system and growing up with no one, which is why the CASA volunteers are so important. They need that human connection. They need that person who is checking on them, telling them that they're cared for, making sure that their needs are met, because the foster care system itself, government is not going to pay for every little need for a child.
Right. So foster families receive money to help for what they consider to be needs, which are food, shelter, clothing. But that's it. So beyond that is kind of where we step in, because we feel that there are other needs to help socialize these children. So we pay for camps and sports, music lessons and dance lessons, those sorts of things that help give some normalcy to these children's lives. They would never have that opportunity without that funding and without what we provide. And that's really important in a child's development as well. So we consider them to be needs. The state might not. And so that's why we exist, right? To help meet those unmet needs they can't get anywhere else. That's one of the other things that we do. So we're always looking to raise funds and reach out to our community to help with that as well. And we work hand in hand with the program.
Well, here we are at the holiday season, and those foster children who are so deserving, and the stuff that they're missing out on right now. It's not fair that they don't have the typical home environment. It's not fair that they don't have everything that a child might want or desire at this time of the year. So the food, shelter, clothing, all part of the foster care program. But what about their Christmas dreams? What about the things that they wish they could do or the surprises that they might get at the holidays? None of that is coming in under the provided by foster care column.
That's right.
That's right.
So that is why you have the Angel Tree Holiday Toy Drive?
Yes, we have a toy drive. So we have a great big party and celebrate with these kids for their holiday season, and that's going to happen on December 14th. But prior to that, we are reaching out to the community, getting toys, having them run toy drives for their organizations. We do wish lists. We reach out through the Department of Family Services to the foster families and to the kids, and they provide their list of items that they wish for Christmas. So we'll do about 800 to 1,000 of those, and we'll serve the other 2,000 kids. So we collect over 10,000 toys, and we sort them by age and gender, and each child will receive a bag of wrapped toys, 3 or 4 items on that day. It's a great big party, and there's food and bouncy houses and face painting and Disney characters. People from the community come out and really just celebrate with the kids and are there for them. It's a wonderful day, and they really enjoy it, and then they receive this bag that they might not otherwise get. It's really a fun event, and it's a way to bring the community together, because we have so many participants throughout the community that help with the toy drive. We do need funds as well, so I'm going to throw that out there, because we have teenagers. They don't get toys, they get a $50 gift card, but we have at least 800 teenagers already registered, so you can do the math on that. We'll have to raise quite a bit of money, $40,000, just to give them a $50 gift card, which to me doesn't seem like a lot, right? We give our kids so much more, but it's something, and they love to come just for that. So
especially those teenagers, they look forward to getting their gift card.
Yeah, gift cards are useful. And to give them a gift card so that they can really go out and select exactly what they want. That's a great answer.
It really is.
Yeah, so you could go to our website, casafoundationlv.org, and make a donation there, and it will provide additional information about the toy drive.
The Angel Tree Holiday Toy Drive. This is so important. These kids in foster care, they need to know that people care about them at the holidays. They need to not feel forgotten. We need new toys that are unwrapped.
Yes.
Dropped off at multiple locations around town by a week from tomorrow, which is Monday, December 2nd. We're going to have all the locations and the information, links and everything on the Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with a podcast of our discussion today. With the Angel Tree Holiday Toy Drive, I love the idea of the party. It sounds like so much fun. A day where the kids really can just be kids and have a party, hang out together, and get treated special. A marvelous day that ends up with presents.
And in addition to the wrap presents. There's usually stuffed animals the children leave with. There's books that's been donated that the children get to pick. There's sometimes bikes that's been donated. I mean, they have a raffle. So there's so much. The kids have a blast.
Santa
and the adults
Claus and Mrs. Claus are there
Yes.
with various Disney characters walking around and face painting. And so, yeah, it really is a huge event with our partners, Breakthrough Beverage, of course, the CASA program and the Department of Family Services and others throughout the community, some of which you'll be listing as places for drop-off. So it's a lot of fun and the kids really enjoy. And we get to hear from them because they write little thank you notes about what a wonderful time they had, which makes it all worth it.
And those thank you letters are presented and sent to the donors at the end to say this is how the children felt about what they received.
I call that positive splashback because when you do something nice, you get such a wonderful, warm feeling in return. It really fuels your volunteerism. One of the things that we do as part of Talking Solutions, Sheila and Elizabeth, is we ask, as listeners, what can we do to help you? Sheila, I'll start with you.
You can become a CASA volunteer. You can help change these children's story. You can change their story from one of hurt to a life of hope. That's what we're looking for is CASA volunteers to step up and just come and make a difference in a child's life.
That sounds special.
And you can also visit our website. It's casalasvegas.org, and we have information about how you can become a CASA volunteer. It talks about the training that's required. It talks about all the requirements involved in becoming a CASA volunteer. It looks taxing when you look at the website. It's not an easy volunteer, but one that will make you feel like you have really made a difference in a child's life.
That is a wonderful feeling. Elizabeth Ham, president of the CASA Foundation. I pose the same question to you. What can we do to help you?
I echo Sheila's sentiments. The number one thing you could do is become a volunteer, for sure. But in addition to that, we're always looking for funding. So you can go to our website and make a donation to help us pay for the children's unmet needs, the camps, the sports, all the things that we talked about, and help us with our events. And that is a great need. But the biggest thing that we pay for is tutoring, private tutoring. These children fall so far behind in school that it is the greatest need. So we partner with the tutoring club and we pay for our tutoring. We get a break from them and we pay for private tutoring to help bring them back up to their grade level so that they have a fighting chance. They graduate and they can go on to do great things. So we're always looking for donations. That's the biggest thing you can do. And again, our website, you can make a donation right there, casafoundationlv.org. And of course, we help support the volunteers through recruitment and training and retention as well.
And recognition.
And recognition of the volunteers. So it's a tough job. You get a file, you start out learning about what the child has been through already in their life, and it's your job to help them through the court system and be the voice of them. That's critical, but so is helping pay for some of the other things that we think they really need to provide them with normalcy. That along with our event that's coming up. So toys. We need toys, we need money. Information will be on our website as well, and the locations that you share with them are good drop-off points.
Elizabeth, I know that you are a volunteer as president of the CASA Foundation. You put in these hours, you work with kids, help with volunteers, and try to generate funding so that you can provide those extra things that aren't the basic necessities that are provided to families who are foster parents. But how much do you get in return for the time that you offer as the president of the CASA Foundation? What does it do for you?
For me personally, it's a great feeling just to know that I'm doing something to help somebody else. And I feel grateful that I have the opportunity and the ability to do that. I hear from others that volunteer who thank me for giving them an opportunity to volunteer. I feel very, very strongly about this, and it's a message I always like to give. It's so important to do one thing that matters. And if everybody just did one thing, something, doesn't have to be big, something small, we could really change the world. And this is an area that I think we could make such a difference. I know it's fixable. I know that we can change these children's lives. So knowing that if I can just make a difference in one person's life, I'm happy. And I hear the same from others. So it's not unusual. And I know people seek that out. And these CASA volunteers, they are of like mind and they're amazing, wonderful people with such a great family to be a part of as well, and to have people that want to make a difference in this world. I urge everyone to do something. Maybe what some people can do is just donate, right? They don't have the time, but they have the money or they have the means. There's always something someone can do, and it is a great feeling to help somebody else.
Well, it was just mentioned that these are our children and these are our future adults here in Southern Nevada. So it doesn't sound like that great of a sacrifice for all of us to work together to give these kids what they need to be successful adults. It's our responsibility.
Yes.
Agreed.
We're talking about the Angel Tree Holiday Toy Drive with CASA. Sheila Parks is the program director for CASA. Do you get, in your role as the head of CASA, the same kind of splashback in a positive way that Elizabeth refers to?
Yes, as a program director of CASA, I have met such wonderful volunteers. I look at my volunteers and I feel so proud because they make us look good and they provide such a service. And almost 99% of the volunteers we work with, they all say, I got more from working with these children than they believe they gave to the children. Almost 99% of the volunteers feel that way. And I just feel good to know that I can supervise and manage a program of 370 volunteers, which is not enough. We're trying to accomplish a goal of 400 volunteers by June of 2020. We're celebrating our 40-year anniversary next year. We want to exceed that. If we can get to 500, we would be serving probably more than a fourth of the children, which is much more than what we're doing right now. Our goal is to eventually have a CASA volunteer for every child, which means that we need 1,000 volunteers to serve every child. If we had 1,000 volunteers, we believe we could serve every child in foster care and provide that service. But we have to get there incrementally, and we know that. So realistically, we're trying to do it 400, then 500, and eventually continue to grow.
Well, one volunteer at a time can help one more child. And we work together to make a real difference.
And some of our volunteers serve more than one child. One volunteer may serve a sibling group of 5, so they will serve a family.
If somebody doesn't have the money to make a donation to the CASA Foundation to provide for those needs that aren't otherwise provided through foster care, if they don't have the money to donate, if they just have the time
Exactly.
and the willingness to make the difference in a life of a foster child, or as you said, a group of foster siblings, because that's how it works. You could donate your time, you could donate your money,
Yes.
you could become part of the events, for instance, that are put on by CASA. So there's a lot of different ways, but I think the bottom line is just be a part of it. Do
Exactly.
something.
And there's a pamphlet that was developed by the Department of Family Services, and it says 10 ways you can make a difference. It lists CASA as one of those things, and it says you can donate to organizations, become a foster parent, and become an educational decision maker. There's so many ways people can get involved in these children's lives. If they just look for one way, it will direct them into the system and help them to make a change in those children's lives. It may not be a CASA volunteer, because we know that the role of a CASA is very difficult. However, there's so many other ways you can help. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. You can start by donating a small amount of money. If we had everyone in this community donate a small amount of money to these children, we can really serve almost every child.
That would be huge.
That would be huge. So it doesn't take a lot to make a difference in these children's lives.
None of these kids deserve to be in the situation they're in.
Exactly.
It's not their fault.
That's right.
But we need to make sure that they are sheltered and cared for and provided for, and that those needs that are also out there, their hopes, their dreams, their wishes, the need to connect with someone who cares, that they are provided with all of those pillars to turn them into strong adults. They're our kids. They're local. We need to help them.
Yeah, and Las Vegas is such a great community. When they know about an event or a way that they can help, they come out and help. And so a lot of times it's just about getting the message out. I know that we have a community full of people who would love to donate their time and or money. So thank you for having us and helping us get the word out, because this community does step up.
That's what we're here for. And also thank you to Tom McCord, also involved in volunteering for CASA.
Yes.
He's the one who got us all together so that we could talk about the Angel Tree Holiday Toy Drive. We are looking for unwrapped toys for these kids of any age. We've got different locations for drop-off. All the info's on the Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with links and the podcast of our discussion today. So a lot of ways for people to volunteer. Time, money, donating unwrapped gifts, anything makes a difference in the lives of these children.
I want to thank you as well for giving me the opportunity to come and just share the information of how people can help change these children's story.
Well, I think, Sheila, people realize that there are foster children in Clark County and in southern Nevada, but it's almost like an out of sight, out of mind thing, where it's not that people don't care, but you got to kind of put it in front of their face and make them realize these children don't deserve to be in this situation. They have needs that aren't provided for directly through the foster care program, and they have dreams. And it's the holidays.
Exactly.
And can't we make a difference for all of them? Are we forgetting anything?
I think we covered just about everything. I just, want to urge everyone again to get involved one way or another. And hopefully there's enough information out there. They could check either one of our websites, and our websites linked together. So if you're looking to donate but want to learn more also about becoming a volunteer, you can link straight to the program website. I just urge everyone to do something that matters.
That's a good line. Elizabeth Ham, the president of the CASA Foundation, and also Sheila Parks, CASA Program Director. Thank you to both of you for coming to join us today on Talking Solutions.
And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, really. Thank you.